coming from that hole is smoke. Okay? And so I look further and see that the chest of drawers that is adjacent to the mattress, to the bed, has on it an incense sitting inside an incense burner that is hanging and protruding from the top of the dresser and hanging over the mattress. Okay? So it would be safe for one to conclude at that scene, just by looking at that scene, that at some point the ash, the hot ash from the burning incense fell down from the incense onto the mattress, burned a small hole through it, and then with time accumulated such vigor that it grew and caused a small fire to be brewing inside of the mattress. As a matter of fact, if my memory serves me correctly, there need not have been a hole be made by the incense, because there was already a hole in the mattress. And the incense ash merely fell inside of that hole and ignited the contents, the highly flammable contents of the internal makings of the mattress, causing it to smolder and emit smoke. Okay, so at this point, I'm panicking, and I'm saying, pour some water in it, just like Juwan was, you know. And all the while, my mother is downstairs sleeping on the couch. But she is not. She's merely resting in her, and she doesn't mind me saying this, in a state of woe is me, okay? She just wasn't, she didn't care, basically. She ain't gonna be mad if I tell you this, you know, because after I get to the rest of the story, you're gonna be laughing so hard, you ain't gonna care that I sat up here and told you this about my mom. So, okay. And so, then I noticed, I said, what the heck was y'all thinking? How did you end up with this? How did this happen? You know? And they said, well, the incense was burning, and knowing my brothers, they were probably fanning the incense around and playing with it. And my cousin Major McCormick got them hit the incense, because he would take the incense and swirl them around and examine the smoke and laugh and just act a complete fool. And so they was doing the same thing. And I thinking, in there playing and goofing off, the incense ash fell into the hole of the mattress, causing a small fire. And so we got so much hustle and bustle going on up there, and it seemed as if the situation was beginning to get beyond our control. And so, like any young child or teenager, we called out for our mother and asked for her assistance. And we said, Mama, I'm like, Mama, the mattress is on fire. They didn't drop some incense inside the mattress and it's on fire. And you know what she said? Pour some water in it. So I'm like, what? And I said, we did. Mama put the mattresses on fire. And I said, okay. She wasn't responding the way that I wanted her to, so I went back in the room and we started trying to work with it again and try to get it out and put more water in it. And like a dummy, I'm pushing down on the mattress and I'm causing air to go through it and blow through it, and that makes the fire grow even more, and that it spread. And anybody who knows about the makeup of a mattress, and this is probably an old mattress too, they know that the stuff that's on the inside of that is synthetic and highly flammable and gives off toxic fumes. And so our eyes began to burn and we began to cough and our throats were burning, and we opened the window and we like, oh my God, this is crazy. You know, we got to be. And so I'm hollering again to my mother, and she's not responding because, like I said, she's not feeling too well. You know, she was just that bit depressed. I don't know, where's my daddy at? Oh, he was probably somewhere gone preaching. And so finally, I mustered up enough fear in my voice that no mother could deny or ignore. And I said, Mama, the mattress is on fire. And so I I go downstairs. She still does not move, however. She's still laying on the couch, back to the world, face to the couch. And I'm like, Mama, what do you want me to do? And you would think she would jump up and say, okay, this is what we need to do. Let's go and get out the house and call the fire department. She just said, call 911. So I was like, okay, I called 911. But in the meantime, my brothers went outside, and at this point it was about 3-something, so school was beginning to let out across the street. And when my brothers went outside, they found one of the neighborhood clucks, for lack of a better term, and I hope to God that there's no one on here that is related to Prentice White. And if you are, and you're offended, please accept my apologies. But back in the day, if he's not now, he sure the heck was one then, you know. And there could be so many Prentice Whites in the world, so you might not even be talking about the same one, you know. But if anybody know Prentice White from Conwood, that's what I'm talking about. They were walking, he was walking down the street, and so my brother was like, hey, Prentice, we need your help. Can you come up here and help us? Because our mattress is on fire. And so Prentice, he's like, dun-dun-dun, I'll stay today, you know. And I escorted him up to the room, and I was a little bit leery of letting him in there because, you know, it's Prentice. No Prentice, you know, you don't want Prentice in your house. Prentice was a participator of illicit things, for lack of, you know, I'm going to be discreet and say it like that. And in doing so, he had an appetite that was beyond his control. It kind of ran him. And so if he wasn't able to quench that appetite and do something about that appetite with the funds that he had available or the lack thereof, then he had to do whatever he needed to do to get the money, if you know what I mean. And if that meant coming into someone else's home and taking something out of it and then selling it and then going to purchase the illicit material that he needed to satisfy the urge, then that is exactly what Prentice was going to do, or anyone like him. Okay, so that was cause for me to be a little bit hesitant in my allowing him to come into the house and help us. However, the situation was dire, so dire, that I could not allow my reservations about who he was and his general reputation to prevent him from coming and intervening on our behalf. So he came in the house, and the Negro went upstairs, and he had this thing about him, this vigor about him that all those people who participate in that activity tend to have. You know, they just got to get up and go ready to do attitude, don't they? You know, early in the morning in the dumpster getting pop cans and putting them in shopping carts and about to go cash them in over at Omni stores and give me a little change. That kind of, you know, vigor. And so this Negro up there with the mattress, and he's wrestling with it and tussling with it and picking it up and trying to push it all out the window. And then we all standing in the door just looking at him, waiting on the ambulance, and waiting on the fire department to come, by the way. And in him doing that, he is causing a little bit of ruckus inside the mattress, and the fire is spreading and the smoke is just pouring out of it. And he's in that room, and the window is open, and then he drops the mattress, and he wipes his brow, and he goes to the window, and he sticks his head out the window. And we're like, what you doing, Prentice? What you doing? He turned around, he said, I need to get a little air. I had to get me some air. Because that smoke was pretty strong, and his eyes was burning and stuff. And Prentice was in rare form, actually, because he had actually given up, you know, and he probably had it in the back of his mind and we was going to give him a little compensation for him assisting us. But at that moment, he didn't care because his eyes was burning. He could barely breathe, and he needed to get a little air. So, you know, basically, the situation was so bad that it defeated him. You know, somebody who was on it, no matter what. The nigga that would go and clean out your nasty toilet with his toothbrush, if that meant he was going to get $5 to go get him a fix. But in this case, he didn't care. He was like, nah, I can't breathe. Forget that. I'm through. So he left.